Who was more valuable to him? Because Satan had a strong attachment to Cain, God chose to deal with Abel. The Bible attests to the discrimination between first and second-born sons. For example, God said to Cain, "If you do not do well, sin is couching at the door." 6. From this we may understand that Cain had a base to relate with Satan. When the Israelites were about to flee Egypt, God struck the firstborn of the Egyptians, even the firstborn of their livestock. 7. Because the Egyptians, as Satan's vassals, stood in the position of Cain. When the Israelites were returning to the land of Canaan, only the Levites, who were in the position of the younger son Abel, were allowed to carry the Ark of the Covenant. 8. It is written that God loved the second son, Jacob, and hated the first son Esau even while they were still inside their mother's womb. 9. They were placed in the positions of Cain or Abel, based solely upon the distinction of who was to be the firstborn son. When Jacob was blessing his 2 grandchildren, Ephraim and Manasseh, he crossed his hands, and laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, the second son, in the position of Abel, to give him the first and greater blessing. 10. According to this principle, God placed Cain and Abel in a position where each could deal with only one master, and had them offer sacrifices. 11. When Cain and Abel offered their sacrifices, the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. But for Cain and his offering he had no regard. 12. Why did God accept Abel's offering, but reject Cain's? God received Abel's sacrifice because he stood in a proper relationship with God. Also, he made the offering in an acceptable manner through faith. 13. And in line with God's will. 13. In this way, Abel successfully laid the foundation of faith in Adam's family. He serves as an example that any fallen person can make an offering acceptable to God, provided he satisfies the necessary conditions. God did not reject Cain's sacrifice because he hated him, rather, because Cain stood in a position to relate with Satan, which gave Satan rights over the sacrifice. God could not accept Cain's sacrifice unless he first made some condition justifying its acceptance. The example of Cain shows that in order for a person who has a connection with Satan to return to God's side, he must make a requisite indemnity condition. What indemnity condition should Cain have made? It was the indemnity condition to remove the fallen nature.